Hello everyone and welcome back, it's Laura from Crafty Not Shifty, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a super quick and simple succulent planter out of popsicle sticks. So this is really quick and easy to make, but it's really effective, and succulents are a great plant to have in the house as they're super low maintenance. They come from the cactus family, so they require very little attention but a lot of sunlight. Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing that you're going to need is a collection of popsicle sticks and also some glue. So I'm just using here a Tacky PVA based glue, and I'm just running that along the edge of one of the popsicle sticks and then pressing those together and laying it down on my work surface to dry. You want to make sure that the surface you're working on is something that you don't mind getting a little bit of glue on the top of, and the surface that I'm using here is just the one that I use for my general crafting, so it's okay if I get a bit of glue on there. I'm happy to just clean that up once it's dry. So once you've got two of the sticks glued together, you just want to repeat this process until you have a collection of 4, and this will create the base for your planter. So if you set those off to the side to dry, and then you'll work on the sides. So now moving on to the sides of the planter, we're going to need a front and a back, as well as a left and a right hand side. So for the front and the back, you're going to need 3 full-length popsicle sticks, and you'll just go ahead and glue those together in the exact same way as you glued the base together, and you'll use 3 popsicle sticks for the front side and 3 popsicle sticks for the back. So for the sides, I'm using some shortened pieces of popsicle stick. I just went ahead and cut those down using a regular pair of scissors. It's really easy to trim these down, and I've just trimmed them to the height that I want. I wanted it to match the height of the 3 popsicle sticks stacked together, so I use that as my guideline. And then again, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'll create 2 of these, and I'm using 4 pieces of popsicle stick just glued together. So I'm smoothing away any of the excess, and then I set everything to one side to dry. So you can see here that everything's nice and dry now. Now I have stacked each of these on top of a baby wipe, and that was just to make it a little bit easier to kind of slide these in and out of shot as I was creating this. So now I'm running some glue along each of those joins. You probably could skip this step, but I wanted those joins to be really firm and I didn't want anything to break or fall apart as I tried to put the box together. So I just ran some extra glue along each of those joins, and once I was happy with that, I just smoothed it out using my finger and again just allowed that to dry. So to add some extra stability and also kind of a decorative element as well, I added another popsicle stick to those sides there. You can see those long sides. I'm just going to lay the popsicle stick diagonally so it covers from the bottom to the top, kind of just adding that extra brace and support to this piece. And I did the exact same thing to each of those sides. Now working on the shorter sides, I'm going to do the same thing. This time I'll take one single popsicle stick and just lay that diagonally across, and then take my scissors and trim off any of the excess. And you can see just how easy it is to trim these popsicle sticks just using a regular pair of scissors. And I'll have the ones that I used linked in the description below. Once again, I'm just going to do the exact same thing, taking another popsicle stick, applying some glue onto the back, laying that down, and then trimming off the excess. Once this is all dry, it's time to put the box together. So do you remember those pieces that we trimmed off from those short sides that we used just earlier on? I'm actually going to use those as supports for when I construct the box and put this all together. So I'm just adding some glue onto the bottom of them, laying it down across the base, and then just using those side pieces just to make sure that everything's nice and straight and that it's perfectly aligned, just to add a little bit more support to help hold these up. Okay, so let's start putting this together. So I'm going to apply some glue onto that support that we've just created, and then also along the bottom of the side pieces. I'm going to make sure to stick this with that kind of horizontal accent piece facing the outside, because I think it makes quite a nice sort of decorative element to this box. Once I've got that pressed firmly in place, I'm just going to use this small box here to kind of prop that up as it's drying so it doesn't fall over. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and then fortunately enough for me, this small box did actually work, as I could set it in the middle and it held up both of those pieces as they dried. If you don't have a box that fits perfectly, you can always do this one at a time and allow one side to dry and then add the other side. Finally, you just need to go ahead and do the exact same thing to add the front piece, allow that to dry a little bit, and then you'll be able to move that box out and also add the back piece, and once that's all completely dry, it will be ready to plant. So here's what it should look like. You've got the 4 pieces along the bottom, 3 along each side with a support, and then 4 along the shorter sides with a support as well, and also those braces internally just to help hold everything together. So now I'm going to speed the video up and show you how I put together this planter. The first thing that I added was a plastic sandwich bag. This is important because any moisture that we add would eventually rot the popsicle sticks because they're just wooden, they'd soak up all that water and it wouldn't work out very well. So you want to make sure you add some plastic lining. A sandwich bag is the easiest thing to use. And then because these succulent plants, they are from the cactus family, they allow very little water and they don't want soggy soil. So that soil has to be sort of slightly damp but not waterlogged. So those rocks that I've added into the bottom will be the perfect place for any excess water to drain and to pool away from the soil. So I've just added some succulent soil and I'll link to the one that I use below, and I've filled that up, and then I have a collection of my succulents here just in a bowl, and these are the ones that I wanted to use. So I'm just making a small gap in the soil and just pressing those in place. You want to make sure to pack the soil around each of these succulents so the roots can kind of root in and that it's all nice and safe and it's not all going to move around. For some of these smaller plants, I'm just using the end of a paintbrush. You could use a pen or whatever you have to hand to kind of create that hole so I have somewhere to press this in. Each of these succulents were actually propagated from some of my other succulent plants, and I'll try to remember to link to a video here. It won't be my video, but I will link to another video that shows how you can propagate succulents by taking cuttings from each of the leaves and creating an entire new plant. So now felt like a good time to trim off any of that excess plastic. You don't want any of that showing, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough in there to keep everything nice and watertight, but also trim off any of the excess so it didn't spoil the look of this. Once I was happy with all of my succulents in place, I've just got some small river pebbles here, and I'm just gently kind of arranging those around my plants to cover up any of that soil. You don't have to do this, but I think it looks nice to have that soil covered up with the rocks, and it just makes everything look a little bit nicer. Once you're happy with how you've got everything arranged, that's it, you're completely finished and your succulent planter is good to go. Be sure to place it on a sunny window, and you can add a decorative ribbon like I have here if you're giving this as a gift. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you're feeling inspired and you're going to create your own succulent planter, then be sure to tag me on Instagram at CraftyNotShifty so I can see your creation. On screen right now are a couple more videos I think you might enjoy. If you haven't already, go ahead and click on the links to watch the videos, and I hope to see you again soon. That's all from me. Bye for now.